Welcome to Wetpixel Live. My name's Adam Hanlon. I'm here at Wetpixel, and we'd like to thank Lembe Resort, Critters at Lembe, for sponsoring this episode. They offer some amazing muck diving in the iconic Lembe Straits. Please head on over to Lembe Resort, that's all one word, .com, to check out what they do and for details of their resort. I'm joined by our regular contributor, Alex Mustard. Morning, Alex.
Morning, Adam. It's nice to see you. It's been a little while.
Yeah, it has been a little while. We've both been busy, haven't we? And you know that I thought that was probably so. What have you been up to? You've been diving. You've been
A little bit of diving. Obviously, had quite a lot of family stuff going on as well. But yes, managed to get my head in the water for a day. Nothing too exciting, but plenty of photos taken. So I think the main thing I discovered actually was I finally gave the 60-degree lens for the EMWL1, the Nauticam's wide-angle macro gear, a run out, and that's the least wide of the lenses. And for me, it seemed, very unattractive. Why would you want to do wide-angle macro without a wide lens? But I have to say, I did really enjoy using it and found it very valuable. And it's basically, if you're a full-frame photographer, it's like having a 35-degree macro lens. So, really quite a wide macro lens, but not wide angle macro, just kind of a wide end macro lens. But you can get very close to things. So you can still fill the frame with nudibranchs, although because of the high magnification, you do fight the depth of field quite a lot when you do that. But it definitely is quite a nice tool to have. And I've modified my EMWL1 rig now so that I can actually carry very comfortably all three lenses that it comes with down with me. So imagine now Nauticam will introduce a fourth option, and then I'll have to carry that one as well.
I think this is something that we spoke about when we talked about EMWL originally, was the fact that carrying these objective lenses, you really need sufficient of the brackets. Nauticam produce a bracket that allows you to when you're swapping lenses, so you need a spare slot so you can put the one you're taking off onto that before you put the next one, particularly possibly in the conditions that we're limited to diving at the moment with cold water and so on and so forth. So well, it's interesting to hear about 60 anyway, Alex. That's
I'd encourage you next time you take that lens out to give it a run. Actually, I found it a surprisingly nice option to have. And previously I'd been kind of like, why would I want to put a tighter lens on a wide angle system? But actually it was nice.
Good. Okay. Well, I'll give it a go. When we're talking about macro lenses, maybe a good thing to talk about, in that one of the things that's happened.
You're not
recently,
doing a segue, are you, Adam?
I did segue. Yeah, I can even say it. One of the things that's happened recently is Nikon has released a 105mm f2.8 Z mount and a 50mm f2.8 Z mount macro lens, and I think this is quite an important development. As far as I'm aware, they're certainly the first of the major manufacturers. There may be third-party lenses that work, and these really are lenses that should work really well underwater. So it's quite exciting.
It shows their total commitment to that system.
Yeah,
I think it's great, because I think what's one of the main limitations for quite a lot of these newer mirrorless cameras are actually lenses ideal for underwater photography. There's lots of lenses, and so it's great to see two come out that really are in our ballpark completely. I think the 105 on a full frame camera is such an important workhorse. And I think the 50 is really exciting too, because it's really quite a wide angle of view, allowing you to take on some of the bigger macro subjects. Good fish portrait for bigger fish portraits, great for shooting patterns and things like that of coral. So yeah, two very nice lenses.
And it works with the EMWL, of course, as well. So that's an interesting opportunity possibly arising there.
The 105 does.
Yeah, it should do. Yeah. One of the things I think possibly that hasn't really been spoken about a great deal is that the Nikon engineers, when they designed the Z, they did a very clever thing in that they managed to move the back of the lens and the sensor closer together. That's the short answer. But they still have a very big diameter flange. And this is basically maximizing the optical opportunities that mirrorless cameras give you. Rather than taking an SLR and taking the sensor out, they've redesigned it. And that new Z mount flange allows them to do stuff optically that they couldn't do with the F mount. And of course, the moment you use an adapter, you basically you lose that advantage. So the fact that these are native means that we should get to see some amazing image quality from these lenses. So I think I think this now you're now starting to see the benefits of upgrading to mirrorless in this particular camera, which is very exciting.
Yeah, so like a Z7 II with the new 105mm could be a new,
Yeah,
setting new standards on macro quality.
yeah,
One thing you said to me the other day about the 50mm
yeah.
is that you don't think it's as suitable for underwater photography because of the way it focuses.
Yeah, it's a front focusing lens. So what that means basically is the focus element sticks out the front of the lens.
So as
And
it focuses, the barrel grows.
yes, so the lens changes in length, if you like, as you focus it, and that's going to create challenges with ports. Obviously your goal with any lens, any macro lens, is to get the front element of the lens fairly close to the front of the port, and this you're going to have to leave space for it to grow, and of course that also is going to potentially cause problems with diopters as well.
Yeah, I think particularly the wet lens is the main issue. I think for kind of normal shooting, that having it a little bit back from the end of the port when the subject's a bit further away, and then when you go closer, it zooms in, it grows and gets closer. I don't think that's so much of an issue with the port until you want to put the wet lens on it. And then I think with the wet lens, it's just going to see the side of the wet lens all the time. And because the wet lens brings the whole focus range shorter, you end up using that whole focus range much more. It's not like, you put the wet lens on and it's always at the minimum focus. It's quite often focus way back and then using the wet lens to give you this high magnification. So I think that could be a limitation on that 50mm. I also think because it's 50, not 60, I don't know how well it will work with lenses like the CMCs, because it's just that little bit wider and it's already a bit of a challenge on the 60mm. So maybe, but yeah, anyway, so it may not be the best as useful as the 105.
As a native focal length, though, I was actually really excited when I heard they were doing a 50. I was like, that's going to be quite an exciting focal length, particularly on possibly crop sensor mirrorless, on the crop sensor Zs. And I thought that could be quite an exciting combination, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to work as well as I hoped it would. So. I should also point out that obviously we've got these two lenses been released. And Nikon at the same time updated their lens roadmap, and there's still no sign of any type of fisheye, Z mount fisheye. So the obvious thing here is let's hope Sigma sees the gap in the market and dives in, and that Sigma 15, with the Z mount on, would actually be a great combination. I think it'd be fine. It would be
very nice.
It was so no, we'll see. If Sigma's listening, please make it so.
Make us fisheyes, not just for the Nikons, for the Sonys, the Canons as well.
Yeah, absolutely,
all those mirrorless cameras would love a fisheye design to make the most of their sensor setup.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely. Other quite sort of big news is that Inon has released a version 2, an updated version of the Z330 and D200 strobes. And obviously the original strobes have been around for a couple of years now, I guess.
Quite a while, actually. Time flies, especially when you're locked down.
True,
I think 2018 it came out.
2018, yeah. I think I took the prototypes to the Red Sea in February 2018. Yeah, so more like 3 years, isn't it?
And I think you lent them to me in January to take to Cayman.
Yeah. And obviously one of the design features of the Z330 and D200 was this domed front port for the strobes, and the Type 2, they've now introduced what they call insect eye effect on the inside of the dome, and basically I don't know its technical term, but they've stippled the inside of it, and the idea is now this it doesn't reduce the power of the strobe, but it softens the beam of the strobe and helps. Obviously they use a T-shaped flash tube in both strobes, and the idea is it helps to distribute the strobe more uniformly across the surface. So that's the goal here.
Well, I think, Inon, I think, have always been very good engineers.
Yeah.
And I have no experience of this technology, but I know that they're not a a company that wouldn't do something if it wasn't sound engineering wise. So
Yeah,
I think that sounds like a very good step, very nice step for anyone looking to go into those strobes. I
yeah.
wish that they would take away the button that we all hate, that we all call a name that is rude, so I can't call it on this. That every Inon photographer at some point has come a cropper with, and they
Yeah.
keep that would be a really nice upgrade for them to make,
You
which they
mean
should have done. We call
pre-flash
it
cut?
the B star 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 button.
Yeah,
And it's the button that stops your strobe working properly, and it's easy to knock. It's easy for it to be set in the wrong position by photographers who often go for years with it set in the wrong position, and it stops their flash gun working properly. And I think just a simple mechanical switch would do that job a lot easier, and it wouldn't pop in and out on its
yeah,
own.
yeah. It's the magnet, isn't it? It's a magnet that goes in and out. But yes, they do have
Yeah,
mind of their own.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I just think that would be, just put a switch there.
just switch it off. That's someone complaining about strobes. Anyway, so yeah, so anyway, they're shipping, I believe now. So that's quite an exciting development. I must
Yeah.
be honest, I haven't seen one in the flesh yet, and obviously therefore I haven't shot one either. But I'm hoping that soon we'll be able to get around to trying them out, seeing how they look. Um, so Lightroom updated this week as well. Um, and we spoke in an earlier episode about the addition of the super resolution feature to Photoshop,
Yeah, well, yeah, camera raw, yeah.
specifically to Camera Raw, yeah. And that's now made its way into Lightroom as well. Um, and when we were talking about it earlier, we spoke about the fact that this makes those relatively low resolution cameras really attractive, and some of the cameras like the A7S Mark III, Sony A7S Mark III, which is a 12 megapixel but it's a low light monster. Suddenly, you can be producing 46, 48 megapixel images from that camera with pretty high quality, and that's a sort of whole nother take on producing imagery.
Mm.
Um,
To explain super resolution to people, and I know we've got a whole video on it, so go and
yeah,
check it out. But super resolution is basically a feature that that Adobe have put into to their software now, which increases your file size by 4 times. I'm looking for something to demonstrate it with. Maybe this post-it note will do it. Your normal picture is this big. It's not really the right color because it's green screen. I knew I should have found a better prop. Here we go. I've got an envelope here that's not green. That should work better. Right. So your normal picture is this size. What
yeah,
super resolution does is it doubles both the length and the width. So you end up with a 4 times bigger picture to play with. And the reason why it's not just simple up-resing is that Adobe have spent a lot of time really optimizing their algorithm using machine learning and lots of clever things. So it actually takes a lot of processing to up-res this picture,
yeah,
to keep the edges sharp, to make everything as good as possible. So it really works. And if you go and watch that old video of Adam and I, it's not old, it's from a few months ago, you'll hear us talking about the fact that it really might change your impression of what particular camera you want to shoot with,
yeah.
or indeed give you encouragement to actually not have to upgrade to the latest high resolution monster for the few times you need full res, because actually you've got this super resolution button for any time someone says to you, oh, but can we do that as a really large print, or you want to print something large. So it's a really nice feature.
I ran it on the Lightroom version when it was released, and I haven't got the latest and greatest computer. It's a good computer, but it's old, um, and it's not quick. So it's certainly not something you want to build into your workflow as a standard. It's
Yeah.
not something you're going to do to every picture. But as you say, Alex, for the odd time that you need that sort of super high resolution image, it seems really, really good.
I think also if you've got a shot maybe that it needs quite a heavy crop, that
Yeah,
might be also another time to use it. So
yeah.
you can give a picture a decent crop and try and get the absolute most out of that file.
I think it's going to be a challenge for competitions. Actually, it's going to be interesting because um, you know we will be seeing. I'm pretty sure people who you can take a section of a macro image now, crop it out, super resolve it, and that's going to be, well, as long as it's within the rules, that's now going to going to be entered as, so suddenly is super macro dead? Do we just super resolve everything? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe we will, but yeah, it's an interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting times. I mean, yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, nice development. What else has been going on, Adam?
So on a really, really positive note, obviously we've just been through World Oceans Day, and Ellen and I recorded an episode about that, which obviously you can go back and check out. But on World Oceans Day as well, the governor of Hawaii announced basically that they're enacting a ban on shark fishing, which is obviously a fantastic thing. And Hawaii has a fairly substantial population of sharks, so it is a real bonus for shark conservation. And the other big news that CSAVE, which is a conservation organisation, has been sponsoring a bill through the US government about that will eventually ban the sale, transport, I think, and of shark fins. This is within the entire United States, so it's obviously not dependent. Now, it's been going on for a while. Obviously, the United States political system is finding its own way through it. It's now passed through the Senate. It goes back to the House, I presume, for another vote. And if it goes through that vote, then it will end up eventually on the president's desk for him to sign into law. And this is this would be the first time there's talk about. I know of doing it here in the UK, but this actually hasn't happened yet. But certainly this would be the first time. The United States getting involved and actually banning shark fin would be a significant advance in shark conservation. So we're hoping, obviously, that's going on. There is a campaign underway. So if you go to csave.org, you can submit your signature to your representative. Obviously, you have to be US based to do that, and they'll expressing your support for the shark fin ban. So if you are US based, it would be a really good thing to go over and do that. I think it's a significant development, or potentially significant development. So.
Oh well, that's some good news to wind up on. Excellent.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, excellent. So as always, Alex, wonderful talking to you. I think we should probably wind up though. So you've been underwater taking pictures. Where are they? Are they alive? Are they out there yet?
A few. I've actually been very busy because it was Isa's birthday this weekend, and obviously, like most children, weren't able to have a birthday last year because of restrictions, and so she wanted to make the most of it this year. So we've had a lot of birthday celebrations ongoing for a few days with limited numbers at different times. So I'm slowly getting my chance to have a look at some of the pictures.
Fantastic.
But yeah, well, I do up on Instagram, Alex Mustard1.
Okay, so there we are. So check him out on there. So thank you, Alex, very much. Thanks to you all for watching, and a special thanks, of course, to Limbo Resort for sponsoring this episode. We really appreciate the support. Please feel free to drop us a like if you enjoyed it, and to add any comments to, possibly what's been going on with you for the past week or so. Thanks very much. Take care, and look forward to seeing you again soon.